There are not many times in any sport that I can think of where, other than like, I can compare it to when Gretzky was traded, where somebody who has an incredible season, people are calling it the greatest season in their sport of all time, and then he's on the trade block? You don't see that very often. That's not something that is very, it's not a common thing. But we're seeing that in the MLB right now with Shohei Ohtani, where there's rumors all over the place because of the fact that the Angels aren't really in contention and aren't really anywhere close, whether we'll see Shohei Ohtani potentially move on to a different team. So I'm definitely interested to see what you have to say about this, Caleb, obviously, is one of the teams that he's rumored to be going to is your Mariners. What do you think on Shohei potentially moving on to a contender?
I think it's definitely, for the player, it's something you'd like to see. It's really awful how much the Angels have squandered the talent they've had, because before Shohei, and they still obviously have Mike Trout, like they have the two best players in baseball, and they can't get anything done with it. And that's just like the most.
Think about before Shohei was in the league. Who would you say was the best player in those years? It was Mike Trout.
Mike Trout.
Right? Like, that's the thing. And then they had the next guy as well. They had the best player, arguably, of the 2010s. And then they went, screw it, let's have the best player of the 2020s as well. And they've done nothing with it.
Yeah, I don't know MLB stats off the top of my head, but like the Angels have not been in the playoffs for a long time.
They haven't won a playoff game, I don't believe, since 2014 or 2015. It's one of the two.
Yeah, 2015. Eight seasons.
Yeah.
Which is
bonkers.
It is. It's insane. And I think that's why they're starting to trade Ohtani. And I almost think, like, it depends what they get back. Because if you get, like, a haul, like something I'd compare to, like, a Herschel Walker trade in football, to where, or even, like, in modern day terms, like the Russ trade. But obviously at a higher level, just in terms of the player that's being traded.
It's just so tough. You know, it's how do you move a guy like that, right? Like nothing is ever going to be enough. Obviously, baseball is different than other sports. It takes a team to win, and obviously we could talk. I feel like that's half the conversation here, right? There's a reason they're not winning despite having Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. But it's just like, God, why? You know what I mean? Like, there's you could get 100 first-round picks, and you'd still have me going, like, none of those guys are going to be Shohei. None of them. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that you can possibly hit that marker to truly make it worth it. But that's the situation you're in when you're the Angels. You just can't build a good enough team, no matter what you try, to win around your two superstars. And it sucks. It really is just the worst situation.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, as a Mariners fan, I'm not too upset that the Angels aren't doing good. But
yeah,
no, it's definitely like it's a shame more for the players than anything, just to see their talent being wasted. Like you haven't seen Mike Trout in the playoffs as much as you should. Like, and you haven't seen Shohei in the playoffs at all, right? Like that's just so disappointing. And I feel like that's where the trade rumors are coming from. I don't even know if it'll actually happen. I feel like it just feels like such a. As a neutral fan, if you're not an Angels fan, you almost feel a little bit of relief just for the player, right? Like, just to be like, finally, like you're gonna see him.
It feels like in hockey terms, McDavid leaving the Oilers, if that ever happened.
Oh, and it's the same. Like, well, it's because McDavid and Draisaitl on the Oilers are the same. It's the same situation as Ohtani and Trout on.
It's definitely similar.
Angels.
The only difference is they actually were able to meet the conference because it's two different sports, right? Like, in baseball, you have usually about 4 or 5 starting pitchers, like a starting rotation, and then you have 9 players through the lineup. And even though Ohtani is the first guy in your lineup and the first guy in your pitching rotation, you still have 4 more guys in that starting rotation and 8 more guys in that lineup. Obviously, I'm disvaluing Trout when I say this, but you have so many more players that just matter so much more. It's not like people are getting different amounts of ice time or field time or what have you. You're going to still struggle, and that's what sucks. Because we're just seeing these incredible players not get anywhere because they're playing with basically bags of pucks.
Yeah, and that's what's really rough to see. It's really interesting to see like in sport in general, how this has become a trend, because you can bring up McDavid and Draisaitl, and I know, again, I'll bring up an example in a sport I know literally nothing about, but going into the World Cup and seeing Messi and Mbappe playing against each other in the like Argentina France final, and then realizing that they're both on PSG, like that. To have both of those players and not be able to not be just like wrecking the league with it shows how much of a team sport it really is. Those are the teams that win you.
I already know we're going to be absolutely burned to a crisp by any soccer fan who just heard you say Messi. But
I said Messi.
No, you did not.
Messi and
Oh my god! I said Messi. I think that's on your end. Come on.
Oh, that's why I said Messi afterwards, because I just started shaking my head in the small amount of European in me.
Come on, I know enough soccer to know Messi. Like
okay.
Messi and
I wanna just like wipe the slate clean. We don't talk a lot about soccer here. We do not need to start a war.
If I really did mess it up that badly, I'll extend an olive branch by calling it football for the rest of the episode. That'll be the meat
in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, we can end this off by just quickly the biggest thing that's been thrown around, and I follow a couple of guys who are Yankees fans on Twitter, so I've seen plenty of this, trust me. What did you think? What do you think of when you think of an Ohtani Yankees pair up?
I hate it so much. It makes me want to cry.
So do I, but I want to hear your opinion on it too.
Okay.
Because as a Blue Jays fan, I can rant to the stars about how much I hate the Yankees, but I want to hear yours.
This is why I hate baseball. I mean, there's other reasons. I don't think it's the most exciting game. I think they play too many games.
Don't burn every bridge.
I won't.
Caleb, you're burning a lot of bridges in this.
I'm burning a lot of bridges
in this segment.
Baseball is still baseball. Any baseball fans out there? It's still cool. Like I watched the playoffs last year. Like that Seattle Houston playoff series was awesome. Like watching that in a vacuum, so cool. But at the same time, like they can't play 162 games. But and that's another thing. I'm losing my train of thought. But at the same time, another one of the things I don't like about baseball is the lack of a salary cap, because you have teams like the Yankees that can literally buy their way to.
And that's the thing in soccer as well. I'm pretty sure. Like it's
football?
just the
Messi and
in football. And it's also like, obviously, Caleb, I don't know how much you know about F1, but that's a really, really big thing in F1 where, like, the richest team wins, where you saw Mercedes win 5 years in a row off of Lewis Hamilton. And obviously, Lewis, again, I'm going to piss off F1 fans. We're burning every bridge today. But, like, Lewis Hamilton, say what have you about him, he's arguably the greatest racer of all time. But was he winning because of how good the car was or because of how good he was? Like, it's with that one, you can go down that road. You could fight with me about that one because I'm on the how good the car was argument side of that one. But anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah,
Salary cap.
Yes. Yeah.
Get a salary cap.
Yeah, seriously. Just because
just do it.
Because we talked about, like, because we don't talk about baseball a ton, but the last baseball thing we did talk about was the A's moving, and that's the flip side of the issue, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you like, obviously it's never gonna happen because Ohtani would want to play for a contender, and the A's are the absolute opposite of that. They are terrible. But imagine what a player like Ohtani going to the A's would do for that franchise. Like, that would reinvigorate the franchise to an insane extent. And that's what I kind of like about having a salary cap, is that can happen for any team. Like, look at the NFL. And look at the NFL and NHL. Like, there is some level of parity into where, like, it's not the same teams winning every year. And when they do, it's because of some other reason. It's not because the Patriots paid their way into winning. It's because they had the greatest quarterback combination of all time. That's why they won. That's what I like
Yeah.
about that count. And that's why I think, like, Ohtani going to the Yankees leaves a little bit of a yucky taste in my mouth. Not just because I don't like the team, just because, like, it reflects a greater issue in baseball that I take offense to.
Yep. Preach, Queen. Damn right.